Hi everyone, welcome back to the Art of Save Scumming. Today we've got another campaign review for you. This one for Be'lakor, and you can see that here that I have played the customary 50 turns to get a sense of the campaign. And what I would classify the Be'lakor campaign as is the most Pokemon of all campaigns. It allows you to confederate all of the Warriors of Chaos legendary lords. The only other lord that has the ability to do this is Archaon, but Be'lakor has the ability to do it at a level that is unmatched by any other faction in the entire game. The reason that is he has access to the unholy manifestations, and you guys have seen this before with some of the other demon factions, but his have very impactful mechanics. So I suppose, without burying the lead, this one right here, the Cursor's Boon. And whenever you find a lord, it allows you to summon a portal in the province. And that allows you to import armies from clear across the map. It allows you to fresh recruit elite tier armies and pop them in that portal to invade an area. It's just unmatched in the ability to bring an invasion force to an area. And Warriors of Chaos have a confederation mechanic that is centered around destroying the last settlement of any faction. So you can vassalize any faction in the game. You can confederate any Warriors of Chaos faction as Be'lakor or Archaon by capturing their final settlement. And you just get this enforced confederation button that allows you to take the settlement at the tier that it's at, maintain all the buildings, and get that legendary lord. But Warriors of Chaos, to dig in for those of you who may not have played this faction before, they do not work the same as every other faction in the game, in that they only have a select few settlements that they actually care about, and these are called the Dark Fortress sites. And in those, you get your income. Your main settlement building also has income, but then there are these various other buildings that have regional buffs. The other settlements in any province have limited utility. They're more outposts than anything else. And some of the resources are worth getting. Personally speaking, the gold mining resource, Undivided Corruption, doesn't really do much for me. But for instance, over here, not this one, not the dyes, but the wine resource increases the melee attack of all Marauder units across the board. So a couple of those, and you're doing pretty good. The other one that's really awesome is Iron. Plus 10 armor for Chaos Warrior units, faction-wide. So you're going to use a lot of Chaos Warriors. So anything that buffs Chaos Warriors or Marauders is definitely high on the list. This one's actually halfway decent. Wins magic capacity. Warriors of Chaos also work on an authority system, which if we select an army here, preferably a themed army. Where is Festus, for instance? This was Valkia's army, but Festus here. He has this Nurgle authority. So there's Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and Undivided. And based on how your authority is doing is how your units are buffed. So, for instance, I have 100% Nurgle authority, 10 out of 10. So any Nurgle unit is going to get a casualty replenishment rate of plus 10%, an upkeep reduction of 20%, a recruitment cost of any Nurgle units, and Warbrand upgrade cost 20%. So Warbrand upgrades, this button here, you select a unit, and we're going to upgrade it from a Marauder. You can see that I've met the tier requirements, tier 5, upgrade. So now I've got a Chaos Warrior. So it's it's interesting because while this is a really cool mechanic, I've seen a lot of people ask to have this integrated more broadly in the game. I don't think that that is a good idea because everything becomes super samey. But what I do like, for instance, is the ability to like switch these guys over to the great weapons, for instance. So if I'm going up against something and I need the great weapons variant, I have the ability to switch that. And then I can very easily switch it back. So I like that functionality. I would like to see them incorporate that sort of thing across the board. But the tiered upgrade, what it does is that it makes them super powerful, but it also means that your units are considerably more precious. So these units I've had since basically the beginning of the game. I think I got Festus on like turn 10 or something like that. So I started recruiting this army, and they are just now getting up to the tier because I've been doing some other stuff with his army. But you can see that I've had these for a long period of time. You got to build the experience to get them up, to get them to Chaos Warriors, to get them to Nurgle, or to get them to Chosen. You see what I'm saying? So you have the ability to acquire those units based on the corruption in your region. So if I were to grab one of these other armies, let's just look in here. So in this area, we don't have a whole lot of corruption other than the undivided corruption. So this is going to be all undivided units, and you can see that that is the case. And they are instant recruit. The only exception to this is that the Nurgle units play very much like the standard Nurgle units when you're playing as a Nurgle faction, and they recruit at less than 100% health. Everybody else recruits a unit at full health. So if I were to go to, for instance, this one over here, I can recruit this Marauder unit in enemy territory, by the way. Or, excuse me, neutral territory, but you can recruit in enemy territory at 100% health. It behooves you to theme your armies, and that's basically what I've done across the board. Now, what's interesting is aspiring champions, being an undivided unit, are recruitable at random in any province. I could probably find one if I were to, like, for instance, do this right here. There might be an aspiring champion. No, there isn't. But there is a Chaos Warrior, for instance, available there. Also, depending on the terrain, you have other units that are more likely to pop up. For instance, we have Dragon Ogres here, Manticore, and a Chaos Giant. That's because this region has mountains in it. Even though this is a frozen climate, there is... That's frozen. What's this one? Mountain. So because there's a mountain here, we have access to these other units. Let's go back. Well, let's talk about gifted units for a second. So there's a whole list of gifted units here. You can see, depending on what you've been doing, you can get gifted units by the Gifts of Chaos. And you unlock Gifts of Chaos with different technology and sacrificing souls and things like that. It's a pretty intuitive system. For instance, if we were to go into, let's see, the Nurgle one here. If I applied this gift, then I would get Nurglings instantly, and then every 4 turns I would get more Nurglings and the Plague Drones. Those would be added to the gifted. So if I were to, let's just do that really quick to demonstrate it. Let's do this one because it's costing me a lot. Let's do this. So now in this army, I can recruit a chariot, a seeker chariot of Slanesh, because that's what we added. Now, interestingly, only Be'lakor has access to this, and this is why I brought it up. When you use your unholy manifestations, you get gifted units. You can see here, this one gives you pink horrors, this one gives you demonettes, this one gives you plague bearers, this one gives you bloodletters. Depending on who is winning the great game, you will get the exalted variant of that unit when you use this gift, or when you use this unholy manifestation. So I recently used this. I got an exalted bloodletter of Khorne instead of a regular bloodletter of Khorne. Be'lakor is also the only Warriors of Chaos leader that can have an entirely demon army. Everyone else is capped at 4 in each of their armies. The thing that I think is most interesting about the Be'lakor campaign is because of that portal system, you have an amazing amount of latitude to work with in your campaign. It doesn't matter what direction you want to go in, you can probably make that happen. And the strategy that I used was actually to confederate Sigvald on like turn 5. And you do that you start with an exalted hero. I didn't even attach him to the army. Put him right in the water. The exalted hero goes all the way up here, and you'll find Sigvald outside of his settlement, and you can portal to here. After you've consolidated your first province down here, you portal up there, you take the Fortress of the Damned, and then instantly you get your second legendary lord. And then you can basically pacify this region, get some vassals along the way, and then by that time, you've raised your settlement level enough to get a sorcerer to send them down to check out Festus, confederate Festus, work your way up here, get Azazel, and then over, you just send another person over to portal over to Valkia and confederate her. So there is a lot of latitude to do whatever you want. You don't have to do it that way. You could, for instance, right on turn probably turn 2-ish or 3, portal all the way down to the Southern Chaos Wastes, because there is a starting portal down here if you wanted to, but then you'd have to deal with Kairos. So I don't really think that that's the way to go, personally speaking. Although to get these, sometimes you have to fight factions. Like, for instance, I've never used this one because I've never fought an actual Nurgle faction. These ones just kind of have popped up from other things that I've done. The last thing that I want to cover on Be'lakor is he has a really unique capacity for Demon Princes. Now, usually I don't get Demon Princes in my campaigns because they're just sort of tedious to go after, because you have to, if I were to, for instance, want to Demon Prince, where's the dude I just recruited? If I want to Demon Prince this guy, I have to first devote him if I want him to be devoted. But if I don't want to, I have to get him to turn 30 to devote undivided. That is a long time, and it's just a pain in the butt to do that. You lose all your levels. You have to really work on that in every faction except for Be'lakor's. And you'll notice that I actually have a lot of Demon Princes. I've got one there, and I think there's one wounded right now. Oh no, he's over here. Yep. Right there. And the way that you get these is by using your exalted heroes to attack agents on the map. And Lewis Thiergard has 7 turns until he turns into a Demon Prince and is recruited into my faction. Now, he'll be recruited at level 1, but that skips 30 levels of upgrading to get a Demon Prince. So it allows you to rapidly recruit those Demon Princes considerably faster than you would in any other Warriors of Chaos campaign. I think that that alone is worth taking a look at Be'lakor, even if you don't want to take advantage of the other things like confederating all the legendary lords and such. If you just want to take the fight right to the mortals and boost your soul input, then you have that option, and you can get those high-end lords, because, like, if you were to look at one of those demon princes, an undivided demon prince is actually really good. This guy is a firecaster melee lord, and he has the ability to do a whole bunch of other stuff in here that is just extremely impactful. A super meaty skill tree here that is pretty hard to touch across the board. Anyway, Be'lakor, check him out. Definitely worth a look. Thanks for tuning into The Art of Save Scumming. Hopefully we'll see you on another one here pretty soon.
This was not